I want to start with a number that stops a lot of buyers cold. Right now in August 2026, buyers in Danville are competing for single-family homes with a median list price around $2,100,000. And here is what nobody warns you about before you write your offer. The mistakes that cost buyers the most money in Danville almost never happen when you're searching for your home. They happen weeks after you already won the house, when the paperwork you didn't actually read catches up with you. I've watched buyers waive the wrong protection and lose part of their deposit. I've watched a family fall in love with a home in the hills, get their offer accepted, and then find out their homeowner's insurance quote was more than their monthly mortgage payment. Nobody warned them. That, my friends, is not going to be you. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jenn Collins. I help people buy and sell homes and figure out where exactly they want to live, here in the Tri-Valley and throughout the East Bay. Most of the people we work with are relocating, upsizing, downsizing, or just trying to make a smart move without regretting it later. And that's exactly what this channel is here for. So let's jump in. These are the 5 mistakes I see buyers make in Danville, and exactly how to avoid each and every one of them. If you've been looking for a home in Danville for a while, or you're just starting to think about a move here, you need to know that things can move fast. You've probably heard you need to waive all your contingencies, write an offer over asking, write a love letter, and then hope for the best. That story made sense a few years ago when the market was on fire and every listing had 15 offers over the weekend. It's not the whole story anymore. Homes in Danville are still selling for strong prices, but they're sitting on the market longer than they did even just a few years ago. That's actually good news for buyers. It means you have time to do this right. But many buyers don't know that the market has changed, so they're still waiving protections they don't need to waive and getting caught off guard by details nobody explained to them. So here's the question we're answering today. How do you buy a home in Danville without one of these 5 mistakes costing you thousands of dollars or costing you the house? Mistake number 1, waiving the wrong contingency. In California, your purchase contract actually has 3 separate safety nets built in. We call them contingencies. Think of them as exit ramps that let you walk away or renegotiate if something goes wrong before you close. They are the inspection contingency, the loan contingency, and the appraisal contingency. The loan and appraisal contingencies sound like the same thing. They are not. Just imagine you're buying a home for $1.5 million. Your agent tells you the way to win this is to waive your appraisal contingency, so you do so. Then the appraisal comes back at $1.4 million, $100,000 under your offer. Here's the part that nobody explains. Your lender is only going to loan you money based on what the home appraised for. If you waived your right to walk away or renegotiate because of a low appraisal, that $100,000 gap is now your problem, and it is due in cash at closing. Only waive your appraisal contingency if you can genuinely cover a gap like that in cash, not if you think you probably could. If you can't answer that question with total confidence, then keep the contingency in place. It costs you nothing to have it. It only costs you something if you need it and you don't have it. Here is the part most agents won't tell you. Sometimes waiving it is genuinely the right move if you have the cash reserves and if the house is worth stretching for. I'm not telling you to never waive a contingency. I am telling you never to waive one because you feel pressured to keep up with other offers without first running the actual numbers on what happens if the appraisal comes in low. That's a 5-minute conversation with your lender that can save you from a decision you can't undo once you're in contract. And if you want to learn more about how we help our clients waive an appraisal contingency without taking on 100% of the risk, call or text me at the number below. I'd be happy to walk you through it. Mistake number 2, forgetting the bill that comes after you close. This is the mistake that blindsides more Danville buyers than almost anything else on this list because it shows up months after you've already moved in, right when you think you're done being surprised. Here is how California property taxes actually work in plain English. Here in California, we have Prop 13, and if you want more details on this, watch this video here. So, with Prop 13 property taxes, the home you buy gets reassessed to your purchase price the moment you close. It's no longer the seller's old, much lower assessed value. But your county doesn't always catch up right away. So a few months after you move in, sometimes as long even as 6 months later, you get what's called a supplemental property tax bill. It's a one-time bill that covers the gap between what the seller was paying and what you now owe for the rest of that tax year. Here's the part that trips people up. This bill is not in your mortgage escrow account. Your lender is not paying it automatically. It shows up in your mailbox, and you're expected to pay it directly. sometimes in the thousands of dollars, with very little warning. I tell every single buyer I work with, budget for this bill before you ever get the keys. Don't let it be a surprise. Just imagine you close on a home in Danville in the fall. The seller was paying property tax based on what they bought the home for 30 years ago, a much, much lower number than what you just paid. The county eventually catches up and sends you a bill covering the difference for the months you owned the home before the new assessment took effect. That bill did not come with your closing paperwork. It shows up on its own timeline, and if you weren't expecting it, it can be a very expensive surprise. Mistake number 3, not asking about Mello-Roos and special tax districts. Now, most of Danville is older, more established neighborhoods, which is actually good news, because that usually means little to no Mello-Roos. Mello-Roos is a special tax that pays for things like roads, sewers, and schools in newer developments, and it gets added right on top of your regular property tax bill. Just imagine you fall in love with a newer build somewhere in the Tri-Valley, maybe over in San Ramon's Doherty Valley, in communities like Gale Ranch or Windermere. It's a beautiful house and there's great schools. What a lot of buyers don't realize is that some of these newer neighborhoods have more than one of these special tax districts stacked on top of each other, and each one has to be checked separately. That can add real money to your monthly payment on top of your mortgage, money that never shows up when you're just comparing listing prices side by side. To give you a real sense of scale, over in the newer East Dublin neighborhoods, some of these special tax districts run in the neighborhood of $4,000 to nearly $6,000 a year on a single family home, depending on the size of the house. That's not a rounding error. That can have a real impact on your monthly cost of home ownership. The fix here is simple. Before you write an offer on anything built in the last 15 or 20 years, anywhere in the Tri-Valley, ask your agent to pull the actual special tax breakdown, not just the base property tax rate. Now, if your stomach is sinking a little right now because this feels like a lot to track, it's okay. That's what I'm here for. This is exactly why we walk through each of these line items for every house our clients are interested in ever writing an offer for. We've also created our buyer guide that helps walk you through the purchase process, and you can download that and other resources right here. Real quick, before we get into these last 2 mistakes, if you're buying anywhere in the East Bay, in Danville, Alamo, San Ramon, anywhere in the Tri-Valley or beyond, our team would love to sit down with you for a complimentary, no-pressure consultation and walk through your specific situation. And if you're searching outside of our area or anywhere else in California or out of state, we have a vetted network of referral agents we trust completely, and we'd send our own family to them. And we'd love to connect you with them as well. Okay, back to it. Mistake number 4, skipping the insurance check before you remove contingencies. This is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's getting more important every year. If a home you're considering is anywhere near the hills, and Danville has plenty of gorgeous hillside neighborhoods, you cannot assume you will be able to insure it in the normal way. Private insurance companies have been pulling back from wildfire risk areas across California, which pushes more homeowners into something called the California FAIR Plan. Quick translation, the FAIR Plan is California's insurer of last resort, the backup option when private companies will not write you a policy. In the highest risk zip codes across the state, close to 4 in 10 homes are now covered through the FAIR Plan. And in the most extreme risk zones, premiums can run anywhere from $5,000 to over $25,000 a year. Just imagine finding your dream home, getting your offer accepted, waiving your contingencies to win the deal, and then getting an insurance quote that adds $1,500 a month to your housing payment that you never budgeted for. My advice, always get a real insurance quote, not just a guess, before you remove your contingencies on anything near the hills or near open space. It's a phone call that takes 20 minutes and it can save your entire budget. Mistake number 5, not reading the paperwork that protects you. This last mistake is a quiet one, and it's simply not reading 2 documents that are designed to protect you. Early in the loan process, your lender has to give you something called a loan estimate within 3 business days of you applying. This document spells out your estimated closing cost, which in California typically runs somewhere between 2 and 5% of your purchase price. On a home in Danville, that can easily be more than $30,000. Then, a few days before you close, you get a second document called the closing disclosure. It should look almost identical to your loan estimate. If the numbers have jumped around and nobody has explained why, that is your moment to stop and ask direct questions before you sign anything. Most buyers skim both of these documents because they're excited and a little exhausted. Do not do that. This is the last checkpoint standing between you and an unpleasant surprise at the closing table. So let's bring this all the way around and answer the real questions. How do you buy a home in Danville without any of this costing you thousands of dollars, or worse, costing you the house? If you're getting ready to make an offer in the next few months, sit down before you write any offer and know exactly which contingencies you're comfortable waiving and which ones you are not, based on real numbers, not pressure in the moment. If you're looking at anything that's been newly built, especially in San Ramon or in newer pockets of the Tri-Valley, ask about Mello-Roos and special tax districts before you fall in love with the house. If you're looking anywhere near the hills, get an actual insurance quote before your contingency period ends, not after. And if you're just getting started and haven't found the house yet, the smartest thing you can do is get your paperwork education out of the way now, while there's no pressure and no clock running. I'd love to help you get started, so if you'd like to schedule a buyer strategy session, call or text me at the number below. Okay, let's recap. Know your contingencies before you waive them, budget for the supplemental tax bill before it shows up in your mailbox, ask about Mello-Roos on anything newly built, get a real insurance quote before you remove contingencies, and actually read your loan estimate and your closing disclosure side by side. If this video helped you, and I hope it did, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe to our community, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if you know someone who is about to start house hunting in the East Bay, share this video with them. It might save them thousands of dollars. I'm Jen with the Jenn Collins Group, and we help people make smart, confident moves here in the East Bay, whether that's next month or a year from now. If you're planning to buy or sell your home in the East Bay, I'd love to guide you through the process. Call or text me at the number below to schedule a complimentary, no-obligation strategy session. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.